From the alley-oops at Kezar to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time, and you know we had to hit you with the Sleepers episode. We needed to get these guys' names out there. Some guys that we've been paying attention to as we've been watching all the film that we've been watching.
It's true.
And everyone hates when you say we've been watching all that film, but guess what? We've been watching all that film.
All of it. And in fact, we've been watching so much of it, we wanted to show you some of it today. That's right. We're not just talking the players, we're showing them to you because the draft is literally, not figuratively, literally tomorrow.
Yeah.
Literally tomorrow. So we need to get this out to you. We got our offensive one coming out to you tomorrow morning. That's right, tomorrow morning on draft freaking day. Man, you guys are so spoiled. We love you so much. We're getting this content out to you nonstop. So before we get this thing started, hit that like button right now. Get hype chat. Let us know if you're ready to see these defensive sleepers. And while you're down there, if you haven't already, I don't know, maybe subscribe. Help us get to 750. Help us get over 750. Shoot, help us get to 1K. We're almost there.
Yep.
We're on the way. 3/4 of the way, technically, if we're being realistic. But man, we got some doozies here today.
And if you can't tell, our energy is at an all-time high because we are ready for this draft.
Man, are we ready? That might be putting it lightly.
Yeah.
Listen, first up on the list. All right, very first guy we got to talk about is one dude named Quintero Cole from Alcorn State. That's right, Alcorn State. That's how much film we're watching. We're watching so much film that we're going after guys that you've never even possibly heard of the school before. This guy actually shows a lot of promise. We're going to let the film roll here and talk about it. And what are you seeing out of this safety prospect?
Yeah, you know what? He's right here. You see him playing in the box.
Dude.
I kind of see his stature and stuff as somebody that really kind of relates to me as kind of a slot nickel corner.
Correct.
But, I mean, I like his physicalness. You see him come right there, set the edge, make the tackle. That is something you definitely need, somebody that can play in the box, but has the flexibility to play also the deep third.
And he does a lot of these highlights are him coming up and making plays, but also stripping the ball in space, causing and creating some turnovers. So, in all honesty, it's one of those things where with this guy, there's a potential for him to have impact as a slot guy, nickel guy, as you said, because he can come up and tackle in space. He can come up and force fumbles. He's going to be physical. It's interesting that he's a safety kind of prospect guy because I think he translates better to like a nickel type role. Maybe he could be a safety in the league, like a specific strict box safety type of player. But man, I'll tell you what, he's probably not going to get drafted. His very first time I saw his name on a board was when we were doing our big board setup, and his name kind of scrolled there in the 230s, 270s, somewhere in there. And I was kind of like, Quintero Cole. And we did some more research, watched some film. And we're like, you know what, this dude at Alcorn State, he ain't too bad.
I mean, look at him right there, playing in the box, coming up and making the play on the running back in the hole. I mean, the guy is physical. He likes to mix it up. And those things a lot of times can't be taught, that eagerness to go make a play.
No, you really can't teach that. That's why Quintero Cole is kind of a special prospect and why, as an undrafted guy, he could potentially, or a late round flyer, could be a guy that fits really well in San Francisco, especially if he's willing to make the shift and learn and develop under a guy like K'Wan Williams.
Maybe a third safety in some roles.
Maybe. Next guy's got a great last name, or interesting last name to say the least. Charles Snowden, linebacker from Virginia. This guy, we just started watching film the other day, and man, I'll tell you what, there's some interesting things with this guy. He can kind of come down and play a little bit of a pass rushing role as well, but he doesn't look terrible in coverage either.
No, I mean, he's a freakish athlete. I mean, he really is. He struggled with injuries. That's why he's not going high. He reminds us a lot of Jordan Smith as far as length and size. I still prefer Smith a little bit more, but you see right there, he doesn't give up, tracks the ball down. And I think this guy really equates to a great 3-4 outside linebacker. But the 49ers have proven they like to grab these guys that are athletic, put them on the edge, put their hand in the ground, and see what they could do in the wide 9 because it has some sort of basics where you have to set the edge. That's the real question. Can he set the edge good enough at his current size? Maybe not, but could he put on more size? Absolutely.
Oh, he's definitely got the frame to add more weight to it and be a bigger, stronger, more physical player than he already is. Key things are health. If he's going to be going late in the draft, which is why you like a guy like this, because he has so much potential and his ceiling it's untapped. It's an untapped ceiling. You don't know where he eventually could cap out at, and it could be very, very high. It also could be low, especially if the health stuff comes back around to bite him in the butt. So no, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this guy, because at the end of the day, Mr. Snowden here is probably, if he goes to San Francisco, is going to turn into more of an edge rushing type presence.
I agree.
He won't translate to a linebacker, but any other team in the league that takes him as a 3-4 hybrid kind of guy can come down and pass rush when you need him to, can be out in space. It's going to be interesting to see how he fits into those systems. If he can be sort of an every down linebacker that isn't out there just, out in coverage when you need him to be and rushing when you need him to be. I think he translates better as an edge rushing type role in the league. See what happens.
Hybrid role, outside edge rusher that could also cover big tight ends might be something they're interested in. Jam a tight end off the line and still be able to cover him.
Could happen. Very well could happen. We'll have to see. This next guy, though, oh my Lord, yes. Grant Stewart out of Houston. Funny part is, I was actually watching Peyton Turner stuff when I saw this guy originally, and then I was like, who's the light-skinned Palomalo out here running around like a psychopath? Looked him up, realized he's coming out this year, and then we started watching some film, and we're like, you know what? We like this guy a lot.
Oh, love him. I mean, he flies around with reckless abandon. He makes plays. Safety translated to linebacker. So, I mean, he's got that going for him. So he's got
bells.
Hey, and you know what that means? Nickel linebacker. Somebody that can be in on those downs, that can cover, that still has the ability to make tackles, and he is a great tackler. I
mean, look at this one here. They're reading, fighting off, shedding the block, getting off it, coming downhill. Here, again, just laying the absolute hammer down on a running back in space. I mean, this guy here, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with him. I think he's a guy I feel like he's a guy who should be drafted just because of the level of energy he plays with.
Yeah.
But this dude is 100% going to be on an NFL roster next year, even if it's just special teams.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he is. I can call it right now safely. This man is going to make a 53-man roster because you're going to stick him out on kickoffs, and he's just going to run down the field and just hit people as hard as he possibly can. He's got some impressive coverage skills also that we saw. He's able to run with running backs downfield. By no means is this man slow, and look at the motor. He doesn't quit.
He would have fit really nice with the Tony Montana special teams group.
Lord, absolutely.
It would have been going crazy. The energy that this guy would bring and just the athleticism, I mean, he's very solid. I would love for the 49ers to pick up a guy like this.
Oh, man, I want it. I want it. And he's crafty, too, in coverage as well.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't quit. If he's out of position, he's going to fight to the very, very end. You'll love to see guys like that. And, man, I have a feeling this guy is going to be – he might be a journeyman in the NFL if he doesn't clean up some of the other stuff as a linebacker prospect. But he'll be a journeyman who constantly has a role in special teams for teams. And he's just a special signee that a team goes out. We need this. Let's go get Grant Stewart. He's going to have an impact. And that 1/3 of the game, because that 1/3 of the game is just as important as the other 2/3.
Well, let's be honest. DeMeco Ryans could develop him.
Very well could.
Look at what he's done with these other guys. Fred Warner, safety, that went to linebacker. So they definitely have Azeez Al-Shaair. All these guys are the exact mold that we're talking about. He could develop him.
Very well could. I like it a lot. Next guy is a DN prospect that we've talked about a lot. You're very big on. It's one Raymond Johnson. My goodness. I mean, this first clip here is against Clemson. So all you Trevor Lawrence stands out there, better watch out, because if Raymond Johnson's doing this to Trevor Lawrence, what's going to happen to him? I'm just kidding. But no, he's very impressive. Big frame, big body guy.
Yeah, I mean, the first highlight, he just got his hands up, made a play. But as you can see, he gets to, I think this is Coastal Carolina. And he's in there and he's making plays, and we know that they were a pretty good football team.
Yes, they were.
So, but I mean, what you notice is the motor never stops.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he's quick twitch. He really does a good job. For somebody that's late in the draft, this guy has a lot of ability.
He does, and it's kind of interesting. Edge rusher, like you said, is always one of those positions late in drafts, and he's probably going to be a guy who gets drafted. It's just going to be in the 6th or 7th round, somewhere in there. And this is why, if you don't go edge rush early, this is a guy I wouldn't mind them taking. The size, the speed, the things he does, the athleticism. You give Kasarik those types of attributes, and the kid works hard.
Yeah.
I don't see how Kasarik doesn't find a way to make this guy successful in the league. Even if he's not an every down guy, he'll be a great rotational piece in San Francisco and for any other team that he plays with in the future.
100%. Last year, my guy was Daniel Tuska late in the draft. This time, it's this guy. I think this guy actually has more potential than Tuska because I think he's better against the run, not just a pass threat. So this guy could definitely translate to a base 4-3 defensive end. And I think the 49ers would have a nice selection here if they got him in the 7th round.
I don't disagree with you there. He's definitely a guy that I feel is going to get drafted, and we'll just have to wait and see. Day 3 is going to be very, very interesting indeed. Next is a corner that I took in my mock draft. If you missed that, it's a good thing it's still up and you can go watch it. Yeah. You should do it right after this video ends, because this guy right here, Mr. Mark Gilbert from Duke, he has the potential to be something special. He is definitely going to get drafted. He's falling down boards, though, because of the injuries and everything else, not being able to stay healthy. But I'll tell you what, when you watch some of his highlights and you watch the way he plays the game of football, kid is special.
He is. He's Darrelle Revis' cousin. He's got that going for him. But also, he was a All-ACC defensive player in 2017. But you're right, he can't stay on the field. He can't stay healthy. And that's the real reason that he's falling down boards. People are concerned about that. But he can really do it all. He can play man. He can play zone. He's able to do press man coverage. I think that the sky's the limit for this guy. I think he's really a day one, day two talent. And he just has had unfortunate injuries that have prevented him from being able to reach his full potential.
I agree with you 100%. And when I watch this film, a lot of the times the thing that sticks out in my mind is confidence. He seems extremely, extremely confident when he's out there on the field. He doesn't usually make a lot of mistakes. He's always right there. Even if he gives up catches, he's right there to bring a guy down in space so they're not getting an even bigger play. With the DB, that's really all you can ask for. You can see him there on the outside, turning and running with the guy in space. He was there the entire way to make the play and make that catch and pass combination as difficult as humanly possible. I mean, the ball skills in this kid are pretty gosh darn incredible. He just needs to stay healthy and stay on the field. Yeah. The Niners have shown they'll take chances. They took a chance with Jason Verrett. It worked out. Maybe they take a chance with Gilbert. It could also work out as well.
Yeah, and they draft from the ACC. So they're not afraid of drafting secondary from the ACC. So, I mean, Tim Harris Jr. they got out of there.
Sure.
So they will definitely take a look at it, and he fits the bill of something they'd be interested in, especially the way that their defense is trending.
I agree with you there 100%. And which is why I'm excited also to talk about this last guy. Because this last guy, in your mock draft, you took Baron Browning. This is one of his running mates at Ohio State. This kid is pretty gosh darn special. Oh my goodness. Special.
He's a special missile.
He is a special missile. That's why he's special. He flies downfield.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, it's incredible to watch.
Yeah, he's impressive. He's a very good player. I like Browning a little bit more, but not a lot more, because this guy is very good, and I think he has a lot of upside. I think he could develop into something special.
He's pretty gosh darn good against the run right now. I think he's got some stuff he's got to clean up in the pass game, but he's not usually out of position.
Correct.
And when he does make mistakes, he's quick enough to recover, which you like to see. This one right here is one of my favorite plays of his from that 2020. I mean, it just going up in space against a tight end there and just pulling that thing down and just saying, yeah, no, I don't think so. My guy, this is my ball. That's something you don't necessarily see from linebackers.
No, you don't.
So the fact that this kid can do it, I mean, it just shows the type of talent he can be. And man, if he can get everything cleaned up, this is a scary prospect late in the draft.
Yeah, the athleticism is not the problem. I think he's got a few technique things to work on, and maybe a little bit more of a physical nature. But look at him play on the outside against a quick quarterback. That's what you're really looking for.
Oh, and the discipline there to know on the read option who he was responsible for. He did not fall for the running back at all. No. He knew it wasn't his job there. His job was to make sure that if that quarterback pulls, you're there, and he was there.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, my Lord.
Look at him track him down. That's impressive makeup speed.
Yeah, no, he is fast. By no means is this kid not fast. He makes other linebackers look not fast at all whatsoever. You'll like to see it out of Justin Hilliard. Very late in the draft. Not very late, but later in the draft. He is absolutely an option for the 49ers. He'd be options for a lot of teams. He's going to be a good fit somewhere. I hope he finds the right situation, because I think the kid could be special.
Yeah, someone's going to grab him for sure, and he's going to go in there and be able to make an impact. And we'll see how quick he starts.
It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to take him a little bit. I don't think he's a day one guy. If he gets to the right place, though, in the right scheme, he could be a day one guy for a team if he's in San Francisco. He's definitely not a day one guy, but you give him a few years, he'll be right there competing with everybody. Maybe bouncing Al-Shaair, making him, expendable for the 49ers. You can go with a young guy on a rookie pay scale. You're not going to have to bump up Shaair's salary a little bit, because if Shaair's your guy for a few years and he produces and performs well, someone's going to eventually pay him.
Yeah, and this guy's going to be able to offer great special teams abilities as well. You see the speed, the tackling ability, all that translates to special teams.
Not the same not the same level of energy as a Grant Stewart out of Houston, but same level of just getting after it and getting downhill, flying to make plays. He's there. He's just not going to have the same amount of energy, which is why if you're looking at a special teams guy, I think Grant Stewart is definitely the dude.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
And that hair. That hair is next level. Let us know what you think about these sleepers down below. Chat, light it up. We want to hear from you. Do you love these guys? Do you hate them? Did we forget anybody? Don't bring up TJ Vasher. It's a defensive episode, Gary. Nice try. No, we want to hear from you. We want to have this conversation. The draft is literally tomorrow, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you're notified. Go find our draft live stream, set a reminder, be here for the draft party. We're going to have a good time.
It's going to be exciting, 100%. Can't wait for this. I just can't wait for the draft anymore. It needs to hurry up and get here. Make sure you check out the Sleepers episode that's going to be debuting tomorrow before the draft, so you need to check that out because that's going to be exciting. But on draft day, if you're here, we're going to have a great conversation. We're going to have great questions, great commentary, and we're going to react to it all as it happens.
Man, you don't want to miss any of this. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment. Make sure you're involved. Make sure you're a part of this community. And until tomorrow, stay safe.
Remember, the right way
is always the 49ers way. And it's freaking here.